anything older than 1972, you have to bump up the next grade. And then anything that's worth more than $400, you have to bump up to another grade. So like my Miles Morales, like even though it's a modern book, I had to go economy on. That's why if you notice in the video, like there's 4 different boxes, whatever. It's because certain books I had to go economy on, and then certain books I went modern on.
This time it's just going to be one. As
and then the custom labels are all a separate thing too. So it's just like that's a separate submission also.
Here tonight in this best of 3 game 1, running into some traffic. I mean, like
the price
like,
Prodigy album. Holy shit!
Is there defense for the
that's
next
a good
game?
one.
I'm not sure. Is there somebody who can defend in the paint at all? I think the biggest player
the Spider-Man all eyes on me
it's
one.
It's really bad out there in this Nets team. You just have to hope that you make it to the next day, because right now,
like these are books that
I don't even know what we're doing.
I want to buy in person because I want to make sure they're at a high grade. You know what I mean? And
but you want to buy them pre-graded because it's going to be cheaper, right?
We're just
no, I'll buy raw. It'll be it's cheaper for me to buy raw and then get them graded.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like before it's graded.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a pre-graded.
Yeah,
yeah.
I tend to try and buy raw and then get them graded later on.
You all right, man? We're live. I'm just double.
Yo.
Oh, it says we skipped frames. Of course we did. Let's close this because I don't want
potato internet.
Fucking can't ever get anything to work well. You know what I mean? What's up, YouTube? What's up, Twitch? What's up, Trovo? Anyone who jumps in? What's going on? This is episode. Oh, I gotta change the graphic. I don't want to say 62.
I'm testing something. Nope, it didn't work. Never mind.
And let's get back to where we can see our pretty faces. What is up, everybody? I don't even know why I'm hiding the graphic. We all know what today's about. Black Panther.
Yeah,
Wakanda Forever. We're going to do a deep dive. I figure we'll give it a couple of minutes, let people jump into the chat, jump into the stream. In the meantime, we'll give it while we give it some time here, I had a few things I wanted to just throw out there. Number one, the two of you guys dropping tons of content on YouTube. The unboxing video, really well done. And I definitely hope to see more of those in the future. And Fred, your Gorilla Bars video was made my ride home from work today. A very easy ride, even though I was sitting in traffic. I enjoyed it so much. It was a combination of Harry Mack and your reaction, so I like it.
I'll take it. I appreciate it.
Let me get the link out here and get some more people. We got 3 people in the viewing party
already.
Butters? So don't be afraid to say nothing. I got to be switching over from the multi-stream chat and the Twitch chat. I don't know why Streamlabs can't show me both. I guess I got to learn to fix that part. Let's see, chat settings. Can I choose who I get to see? Let's take a look here. I don't need no filters. Who needs any of that crap?
What I did last time was I literally went to all 3 websites and popped out the chat so I could see all 3.
See, I want to do that, but it's telling me I'm skipping frames now, so I'm afraid to do that. And then all of a sudden, I can't handle the bidness, if you will.
Is anybody watching? Just type to Chris that everything looks great. This way, he doesn't have a panic attack while we're filming this, please.
Facts.
Just let us know. Just let us know how it's looking. If it looks good,
I'm never happy. I really.
Otherwise, we'll actually never start this podcast. We'll be just an hour of Chris tinkering.
I'm telling you right now, it's a sickness, people. I look and hear everything, and I'm constantly like, nope, it's not good enough. Nope, it's not good enough. Let's see. I just want to get the link out on Facebook, get some more people to jump in, and then we'll go ahead and... I don't want to create a clip. What the fuck am I doing over here? I want to get the link out on Facebook, let some more people get in, let the chat start kind of rocketing off, and we'll get going. Did you guys see the Puss in Boots sequel trailer that came out today?
I did.
How phenomenal does that look?
I did not.
Dude, the first Puss in Boots was awesome. So
it's an
I'm
underrated
all
movie.
for the second one.
I feel like people don't give it enough credit. Puss in Boots was actually a fantastic movie, and I'll fight you if you tell me otherwise. It's actually
He's a good character.
It's a good character. It was funny. Zach Galifianakis was great in that movie. It was just good. People gotta give it some credit. Credit where credit's due. Join us for Wakanda.
And like, look, DreamWorks does well with all those Shrek, Puss in Boots movies and everything like that. You know, I'm moderately excited for it. I don't know, like.
All right, I put the link out on Facebook for the Twitch. If you're in the chat, let everybody know. Let some friends know. But make sure, I'm telling you right now, spoilers. We watched Wakanda Forever. We're not gonna be pulling back.
We're spoiling the hell out of it.
So if you
not at all.
If you have plans to go see it and come back. If you don't think we're gonna ruin it for you, then feel free to just kind of stay in and hear what we have to say. But one last thing before we go in, just a quick some video game. I know Suplex, we were talking about video game TV shows and stuff on Netflix. BioShock is in production, and the director just said that they're going to be very true to the games for BioShock. He's already got a script and stuff already penned for that, so that's good news to hear.
Heard that before.
We have heard that before. That's the one scary part is every director for every video game movie, including Mario Brothers, told us, "Oh yeah, we're going to stay true to the games." And then we got Mario
including the creators of Halo. We're like, we're going to stay true to the games. And then the first thing they did was take his helmet off.
Yeah.
So
they gave us one episode with the helmet on, and at the end said, "Psych."
Yep.
All right, but before we go into that deep dive, let's just move on. Before
we go spiraling.
Let's see, what do we got? 6 minutes and 40 seconds in. I think that's long enough.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Let's go.
Out for a little bit. We'll let people jump in. Wakanda Forever. I'm glad you guys watched it. I'm glad we're here to talk about it. If you looked at the Facebook group, then you guys have seen our spoiler-free reviews. We all basically gave it a similar score. Fred, I think yours was a little bit lower than ours.
Yeah, but that's on brand for Fred.
That's on brand. It wasn't that much lower, though.
No, it was a very good movie.
But I mean, I feel like I have very little complaints about it. I know you guys do.
Like I lowballed my score too. Cause like after I was thinking for a little while, I was like, it was a 9.5. It wasn't.
I feel like in order to do this properly, we should just kind of break it down into categories almost, right? So let's start off with kind of the elephant in the room. This was the biggest question leading into the movie: the way T'Challa dies. So we all know Black Panther was going to end up being dead in this movie, and the whole movie's about who essentially not necessarily is responsible for it, but who's responsible for Wakanda after he's gone, and who can kind of step into his shoes. And what did you think, Fred? I'll start with you. What did you think about the way they handled his passing?
I thought it was very classy, and it was a great. They didn't harp on it too long and like made you feel uncomfortable. They made it like the proper amount of time, showing Shuri trying to save him. Right. But right off the bat, man, it was like a gut punch, and you just start tearing up like as soon as the movie starts. It was like, holy shit, man.
It was definitely I was surprised that they basically start you off right in the thick of him passing away. I think we all kind of guessed they would use just like a disease, some sort of like a named disease to kind of kill him off.
Yeah.
What about you, Zuplex? How did you feel when the movie started with that?
So I thought it was really smart to hit us with that in the beginning. Get it out of the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hit us with it, like let us know, all right, this is what happened. And let us move on from there, and then do the time jump right after that for a year later, and just kind of like, but the way they shot it, the way they shot the funeral scene in the beginning was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Like that's the proper use of slow-mo. I know we were
slow-mo.
We were talking about
the 0.5 went.
Yeah. No, that's the proper use of slow-mo and stuff like that. But all jokes aside, it's a powerful scene. Like it's a powerful start to the movie because, like Fred said, they hit you with that right off the bat. You're almost already in tears at that point. Then you see Ramunda and Shuri walking in the funeral procession, and you see the painting of T'Challa on the wall, and you're just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What got me, what hit me over the edge and made me start to really tear up was when they started doing the Marvel scroll.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
And the whole thing
Bro.
was just all T'Challa.
Absolutely amazing.
And all
That was a
Chadwick Boseman.
moment of silence. The Marvel
I
way
just
is
got
absolutely
goosebumps.
excellent.
I just got goosebumps rethinking about it.
that whole movie was silent for the most part.
Yeah.
There was maybe like a couple like oh shit, or whatever.
I wish
Because
I could say
something
that, but in my theater, there was a couple of moron kids who just wanted to be loud and fight with the popcorn, and they weren't sitting right next to me, so it didn't really ruin much for me. But there were moments that we'll get to in the movie later on that it was like powerful moments that were emotional, and I have to hear them laughing and joking, and it was just like, I mean,
Oh my God.
them. One guy got up actually and was just like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, so it was dumb, dude. Had to switch.
I'll tell you right now,
my
too,
YouTube is acting up. What's up, Buttersworth? Thanks for jumping into the chat, man.
What's weird is I wasn't expecting, like, we all knew that they were going to kind of kill him off screen.
Yeah.
However, they were going to do it. They chose to go with the disease mirroring Chadwick's similar fight in real life with cancer and everything like that. And the internet is very split on this.
What's crazy to me, though, is like, what do they expect? What do you want to see? A stuntman in a Black Panther suit get killed? You know what I mean? Like this was really the best way to do it, where
trying to
stays true.
Yeah, trying to like deep fake him or use a stunt double. It would have made no sense. Or like seeing some weird action sequence of him getting killed.
I would not have wanted to see it. I wouldn't have wanted to see some action sequence where they avoided showing Black Panther, even though that's where he dies. Like, this was the right way to do it, I feel like. And
I feel like
to your point, Zuplex, about them mirroring his real life battle. I mean, the moment later in the movie when Shuri basically admits that he struggled by himself quietly without telling anybody, and then by the time he told her, it was too late. Like, that's basically what happened with Chadwick. Nobody knew what he was going through. He was, just for what we know, I think it was a couple of years of dealing with this and just staying quiet and working, and everyone thought he was fine, and then suddenly it's over. That really got me when she kind of broke down and said that, by the time he told me I couldn't help him, that really kind of hit home. You know what I mean? It was just it was a good scene. I agree. The very beginning, I didn't cry like that, but I was definitely like emotional, like, just kind of into it.
Yeah.
The moment of silence was excellent. And speaking of a moment of silence, I have my chocolate peanut butter whiskey here. So, let's just toast to Chadwick Boseman, and cheers, guys, for episode 63 of the theater.
Cheers.
So I forgot to pour myself a whiskey. In fact, I
don't have anything, so there's that.
I'm gonna
just fake it, Fred. I should have warned you ahead of time I was going to do that.
But yeah, so the moment of silence when they were showing the slides of all like Chadwick's moments in the MCU, and then like all the quotes were like his quotes, his lines in various movies. And I watched a little like deep dive on it, and although a lot of those quotes were cut, there were scenes from cut scenes that never made it into the movies. So a lot of those quotes are stuff that we've never even heard him say, but there were good lines that they pulled from.
It really goes to show you. I mean, if you think about it, so Black Panther had one movie. Chadwick Boseman, I should say, as Black Panther, had one movie. He was cameo in Civil War, a very short cameo. What'd you say?
I wouldn't say he's a cameo in Civil War.
Well,
I mean, he was he was debuted
in Civil War, and then he basically had a cameo in Infinity War and Endgame. I mean, he wasn't in those movies very much at all.
Endgame, he had a cameo for sure.
Yeah, but even in Infinity War, I mean, his total amount of screen time was like 6 minutes. Like, it wasn't much. You know what I mean? And
I think it was more though.
Maybe it was 10 minutes. It's still not enough to be considered a big role.
I mean, the whole end battle was in Wakanda. He was.
I'm telling you, look it up. He's not in it that much. People think Vader was in the first Star Wars for like half the movie. He's only in there for 15 minutes. Like,
as far as screen time, you're probably right. I'm just saying, but
I'm not downplaying his role. My point is that he barely was on screen overall compared to some of these other people. And he had arguably,
I had to break out the real good stuff for this one.
He arguably had as big of an impact on the MCU as, like maybe not a Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, or Thor, or what's his name, or Chris Evans, but he's pretty close to their impact. You know what I mean? He had a huge impact in the MCU in just a short amount of time. So it is sad to see. We're not going to be able to know what would have happened if he was still around, as far as like the MCU and how it shaped. But Black Panther's not gone. So
He's not.
Moving on to the replacement, or I hate to say replacement. That sounds like so fucked up. The the next evolution of the Black Panther, I guess. We basically, everyone guessed it. It was pretty much leaked before the movie. Shuri steps into the shoes. She basically develops her own version of a heart-shaped herb. And what'd you guys think of that, Zuplex? You could start this one off.
I liked it. I think she was the right person to put in that role. I like that they end the movie with her not being queen.
Yeah,
just
that was
being
a surprising little way to end, for sure.
The Black Panther of Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's the Black Panther. That's it. She's not taking on the ruler side of it. It looks like M'Baku's going to wind up being.
Well, he deserves it. You know what I mean? He's one of the fan favorites. He steals the show every time he shows up. So it's like,
Mr. Duke was absolutely amazing in this movie. Like, he was fantastic.
He was insane. He delivered like one of the most strongest lines in the movie when he was talking to Shuri.
Which is when he said, "You've been through too much to be called a child or be considered a child."
Yeah,
loved that line. Loved it so much.
Oh my god, bro! Even when he was describing Namor to Shuri, where he was
they
like,
"Call him Cuckoo Khan." I love that.
Yeah.
I love
that. Where he's like explaining, like, if you kill him, we will be at war forever.
Yeah,
it shows you kind of how wise almost he was. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like the M'Baku from the first movie would have wanted to go to war and kind of been like, screw this guy, or at least that's what it seemed like. But we see him here basically stepping into a leadership role immediately.
I don't know if you caught it, but it seemed like they were alluding to him and T'Challa, I guess before T'Challa passed, becoming very, very close. Because like he says at one point, like, I promised your brother I would watch out for you, and all that stuff. And that, like, he learned from T'Challa a lot. So I think you're seeing the influence of T'Challa in him in the change of movies.
Yeah.
No.
For sure. Again, the big influence, right, from somebody who, really wasn't in like that much of the MCU as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, looks like One Shot is on the YouTube, and he's asking Fred if you plan on robbing a bank at some point.
Yes.
There you go. You have it here.
Nice.
Yep.
Get the popo. It's the sound of the police. Get him out there. Sorry, Fred. You were going to say something.
I do think M'Baku's time as king will be limited, and I think at some point Shuri's gonna officially challenge him at the waterfall and take it.
Yeah, but that though to me is a little strange.
The other guy.
Yeah, we'll get to later on.
Well, so I feel like Shuri can't do that because I mean, listen, I can suspend my belief with superpowers and all that shit. But if she challenges him at the waterfall, then they have to take away the power of the heart-shaped herb.
Heart-shaped herb.
And she's got to fight M'Baku in like hand-to-hand combat. Like, come on, you can't.
He's not beating M'Baku.
Yeah, there's no way. You know what I mean?
Not that powers.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny though that the internet is kind of confused as to about the whole M'Baku scene at the end, where he pops out and basically says, "I challenge for the throne," and kind of makes a comment. Sure, he's too busy doing something else. Like, just to clarify. That was just him being cheeky. Like him and Shuri clearly had a conversation, and she was like, "Look, I don't want to be queen. You could just be king." So he's challenging nobody. No one's gonna step up to him. He's just gonna take over. So like, if you're confused, M'Baku is gonna be the king whenever Wakanda shows up again, and Shuri's gonna be the Black Panther. She'll be the protector, and he'll be the ruler. And that's that's how it is. It wasn't hard to follow. You know what I mean? Like,
and let me just say, like, because we're talking about Shuri becoming the Black Panther here, Laetitia Wright blew me away in this whole
fantastic movie. She killed it this movie. Unbelievable.
Like, absolutely
dominated
performance from her.
Yeah.
Like in my eyes, that is an Oscar worthy performance.
If the Academy would just give comic book movies the respect they probably deserve at this point, like it should at least be a nomination.
I agree
you know what I mean? She literally
at
went
least
from,
a nomination.
You don't questioning whether she can lead a movie or be the headliner or whatever, to full blown like no problem. She owned her role. She owned the screen every time she was on it. Speaking of
you could tell her,
you felt every emotion she was feeling delivering all those lines. It was just it it was unbelievable. She,
Like-
I don't know, man. She just killed it.
Yeah.
She killed it.
Like for me,
Oh, go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
her and Angela Bassett, like you really felt like they lost a brother and a son.
Yeah.
Yeah, they channeled
Angela
every
Bassett,
sadness they had.
If you want
into
to talk
this role.
Oscars, Angela Bassett to me is the Oscar winner on that one. Because she, like, if it's a supporting role, whatever you want,
insane.
category you want to do,
Well, they should both be
she
nominated,
deserves
right?
it,
Letitia
man.
Wright should be nominated for like lead actress or best actress, whatever, and
And
then Angela
Angela
Bassett should
Bassett
be
just killed it.
co-star or you know
Yeah.
whatever, you know the best queen of Wakanda. Give it to Angela Bassett. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My
I
only-
mean, she,
My only real
super
complaint,
powerful.
or not even, it's not really a complaint, honestly. It's more of like a nitpick. But my only thing with the Shuri becoming Black Panther is instead of creating her own synthetic heart-shaped herb, I would have preferred if she just built a suit using the Wakanda technology and the vibranium and whatever, and just kind of like was able to figure out a way to enhance kind of like her abilities, I guess, or her strength.
Because then she's
She
not.
needs
she's not
it.
Black
She needs
Panther,
that
she's Iron Man
strength.
at that
She-
point.
Yeah.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I guess so. And Riri's already there, so we already had our Iron Man replacement.
Yeah. Like we already have our Iron Man replacement at this point, and we don't need.
I do
her to
think-
be both.
And now, you know what? I didn't queue up the video, Fred. I messed up, but
Yeah.
So what was it? 2 weeks ago, I think we were talking about here in the theater room, the three of us talking
No,
about
it was the reaction to the trailer.
the reaction to the trailer. The three of us talking
Yeah.
about Wakanda Forever and our theories. And the one thing I think Fred's the one who brought it up, and we all kind of agreed, was he immediately said that there was
Except
some
for him.
Killmonger vibes. Well, that's what I was going to get to. Killmonger vibes in the suit that we saw in the trailer. And I mentioned that I would love to see Killmonger come back for them to show that he's alive and all that kind of stuff. Fred agreed. And Carmine, you very aggressively, is kind of the right way to say it, very aggressively told us Killmonger will not be back. He is not coming back. I wish I remembered to queue up the video. The
Hold
clip.
on,
Hold on.
hold
I will
on.
queue up the
No,
clip. I will
hold on.
send it to you, you
We-
son of a bitch.
We have the
because this
receipts.
was not that Killmonger was not going to be in this movie. It was that they were not bringing him back
All
to
right.
life.
I got to do it then.
With
I got
Fred's cockamamie idea of finding the body in the
That's
ocean
not what you said.
and then bringing it back to life. I did say, I said Killmonger will
He
not
is
return.
not coming back.
I said he's
bro.
not coming back. I did. It was in response to you saying that they were going to reanimate his
Listen,
body.
Just stop talking for
No,
1 second.
I didn't
Stop
say
talking for 1
react.
second and listen to this.
You did.
But I can't. You notice that there's like this gold trim similar to Killmonger.
I know, it's such a Killmonger vibe, man.
I wonder if she.
That's
kinda
why
took part
when
of that
we
technology.
saw it, and
Listen
that's
to
why
it,
when we
Fred.
saw it
Listen
in the
to Carmine.
first trailer.
Coming back,
I was
guys.
like, oh,
There it is. He's not coming back. You didn't say anything
Because
about
if
him being
all right,
alive.
see, like this is where context matters, people. This is what listeners out there. This is where context matters.
We don't use context.
That is part of a much larger video where Fred was
Fake
like,
news.
I think
fake
that
news.
they're gonna find his body in the ocean because he said he wanted to be buried in the
No.
ocean, and
Continue
the
that
Namor
clip.
and his
Just making things
Atlanteans
up.
are
He
gonna
didn't say any
pick
of
up
those
his
things.
body, and then they're gonna
Chris,
use the
continue
heart-shaped
that clip,
herb,
please.
bring him back to life. And
I
me
already
and
turned it
John
off.
both said to you,
He didn't
they were
say
gonna
any
do
of
that,
those
why would they
things.
bring
I
T'Challa
need- I
back?
need to defend Fred. We never said any of those things. We said that it was very,
Oh,
very
oh.
easily they could put him in prison, and instead of like letting him die, just save his life. I'm telling you.
Nope, I'm pulling it up because I got to be that guy.
I know, absolutely, he said this because me and John both said. John said to him, "If they have the body, why wouldn't they just reanimate T'Challa?" And Fred had nothing to that.
I don't know what
Do
you're
you
talking
think
about.
about that
I
angle
don't,
at
I
all?
don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, absolutely,
Sure.
absolutely.
But I can't.
notice if I run it back.
All right, I'm gonna have to
Oh,
pull it
I
up on
can't find
YouTube
it.
so the people can hear it.
My whole point was that they were not reanimating Killmonger for this movie.
Well,
Because-
speaking of reanimating Killmonger, let's jump to that big surprise, which I wasn't expecting. I think it did leak that Michael B. Jordan was going to appear in the movie at some point, but I missed it,
Yeah.
thankfully, because
Yeah,
that
I
was
missed
a
it too.
genuine surprise for me. And so basically, again, for anyone who watched the movie, Shuri
Hold on,
takes...
pause.
Oh, wait,
Pause.
Go for it.
This is what I said.
Yeah, I guess.
I think he's gonna come back, but he's gonna be in like the astral plane or whatever.
Which I meant the
Ah.
ancestral plane.
Wait, are we
I meant the
forgetting about the
ancestral
entire
plane.
time that Fred said that they were going to find his body in the ocean?
Hold on. See now,
I didn't-
you gotta give us the receipts. We showed you a receipt that you said he wasn't coming back at all.
It's gonna take me
We
a while
showed
to
you a
find it, but I
receipt
gotta
that
find
Fred
it. I gotta find it.
legit said the astral plane, and you just keep
Yeah.
talking
No.
about some
I
random
agree.
comment.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
You might be
He
talking
did
about
say that at
a
one
silly
point.
conversation we had in the chat
Yeah.
privately, but we
No,
had.
No, I
it
think
was
I
on
said
pod.
that we
was on
I think I
pod.
said we did not see his body, so he could be anywhere, and they could find it off the
you know what?
cliff.
No, I think you remember saying that.
literally
Yeah,
said-
yeah.
He literally said that the Atlanteans were going to disturb the body. It was going to wash up on shore.
Yeah,
They
we
were
were
going to give Killmonger's
theorizing, bro.
body. This is my point. We were theorizing, so it did happen. So I'm not crazy. So just we can get that out of the
all
way.
right. So Carmine's
right?
not crazy. Yeah,
And so
Fred and I both were right.
Fred said that the fucking body was going to wash up on shore. They were going to give Killmonger the heart-shaped herb and reanimate
You said
him
he was
because
not coming
T'Challa
back.
was
In the
dead.
context of the clip I just played,
Yeah, which was based off
I
of
said he's got a Killmonger. It's got a
3-hour
Killmonger vibe.
podcast earlier where Fred was like, they're
No.
going to reanimate his body.
I said the
Get
suit's
outta
got
here,
a
bro.
Killmonger vibe. Fred said, "Yeah, I really have a Killmonger vibe from it." And then you said he is not coming back, bro.
Because I was
Yeah.
waiting for Fred to be like they were going to dig up his
Bro,
body
He's
again.
not
You know what I
coming,
mean?
bro.
All right, we beat this.
He didn't. He was in the astral plane. You were right
we
about
beat
that. I'll
this
give
to
you
death.
credit.
Okay, Killmonger.
Give you credit where credit's due. You were right about the
Killmonger
astral
does come
plane.
back from the
Yes.
astral plane, and it was really done in a
It
way
was
to show
amazing.
how
It was
similar him
amazing.
and Shuri are in the way they were kind of feeling at that moment. And it was freaking amazing. I literally kind of held my breath for a second. Was like, "Oh shit!" Like I had no idea he was coming back.
Oh, do you
I
know
loved it. I loved it because she was expecting to see her
Right.
brother. She was expecting to see her mother.
Which is who I thought was going to be
And-
there. Her mom.
Right. And the fact that she sees Killmonger because she's feeling so rageful, she wants to burn the world down as Killmonger did. That kind of like gave him the door to come through to her.
Yep.
And it was just that whole dialogue between the two of them where he's like, "Are you going to be noble like your brother, or are you going to take care of business like me?" I was like,
Right.
this is fucking amazing.
And it go ahead,
So-
Zuplex.
it was the smartest thing they could have done. This entire movie is watching Shuri go through the 7 stages of grief.
Yeah.
Right. And she was at the anger stage. And within the anger stage, she sees Killmonger in the astral plane. That was so powerful to me.
Hell yeah.
That's who came through to her, because at that point in her grieving process, she was at which we've all been at. We've all been at that point in the grieving process. We've all lost somebody that we love. And we've all been at that point in the grieving process where just anger just takes over. And it was a beautiful idea to bring back Killmonger for that reason.
Yeah.
In the astral plane and everything like that. And I really got to give it up to them for the way this whole movie from start to finish shows you the process of Shuri finally coming to acceptance of her brother's passing.
Yeah. She goes from blaming herself to just kind of feeling sorry for herself to full blown just accepting it, moving past it, and kind of moving on and honoring him. You know what I mean? So speaking of that, some of the other surprises in the movie that I wasn't expecting, and I legit wasn't expecting this, when Shuri and T'Challa's mother dies.
Oh my god, bro!
I did not. I felt like
I wasn't ready.
I almost
was
feel
not
like,
ready for that at all.
I feel like I knew the movie was gonna, I don't know, like focus so much on T'Challa's death that it just never even hit me that someone else could die. It just never
I
occurred to
didn't
me.
think that they would even try to kill someone else off and just
Right, and
like,
the way
let
she
it be.
died was, death is not obviously badass in general.
When the first trailer dropped, if you remember, Fred, you thought that they were going to kill Shuri.
I did.
Because
did.
Queen Ramonda has that speech where she's like, "I've lost my entire family." Well, and it turned out that they killed Queen Ramonda instead.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I was thinking about that when they killed her. I was like,
my
oh
biggest
my God.
theory on that was because she has to die to see her ancestors to get the Black Panther type of thing, and that's why I went there. But I did not expect the Queen to go.
Not at
Man,
all.
that was
Not at all.
Wow, not at all.
And that was
especially
so for
after
me,
a performance like that, to have
hell
her
yeah.
just be gone from the MCU at this point is rough.
But like, so I said before, I didn't really cry in the beginning. I was like emotional, I was a little choked up, but like, you know, I wasn't like teary eyed or like that. I definitely had them tears in my eyes during the scene where they're trying to revive her, and Shuri's just like fighting to try and get her mom to come back, and it's just like she's just kind of helpless in that moment. Like, that was rough. I was not expecting it. It was a badass way to go, saving somebody that you just met, essentially, kind of showing the power of family, you know, or chosen family, I should say. And it was amazing. I really was not expecting that at all. Unfortunately, in my theater experience, that was the moment where people decided to tell the kids on the other side of the theater to shut the fuck up. So while I'm sitting there, tears in my eyes, these kids are over here being assholes. But very powerful scene. And like we said before, she stole the show, this movie in particular, from the moment she was on screen in the opening with the United Nations or whatever it was in that trial. It was just, she commanded that scene.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yep.
These soldiers are trying to hijack a vibranium ship, right? And they set them up and take them hostage and bring them to court. Like, these are your men. I was like, oh my God. She brought them to the court.
It was a badass move.
It was
that was one of the scenes that they showed at the Comic-Con cut of the trailer.
Oh, okay.
Well, I kind of already knew that was going to happen because I had read way back at San Diego Comic-Con. That was one of the scenes that was in the original cut.
One of the things that I was kind of upset about, or disappointed, I would say, is it was a perfect opportunity for them to have like you don't have to show Doctor Doom, but you could have had a Latvian representative, and they could have been like, these are your people. What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. It could have been a way to introduce that character existing without showing him. And it was
instead of making it France.
The random French person is like, I don't know what we're doing there.
But here's the thing. There's another missed opportunity there where they made it France and didn't give us another showing of Batroc the Leaper.
Yeah.
Right. Well, is he still around? Is he still alive in the MCU?
Yeah,
he
didn't die
in Captain and Falcon and Winter Soldier, that's right.
Yeah, he didn't die in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna make it France, give us Batroc at least, you know. I think the Ramonda dying also it was twofold. Like, first, it gave us the gut punch of Shuri losing now her mother, and just going over the edge now, where she's now like, I'm gonna burn the fucking world to the ground.
Yeah.
And it also, in my eyes, justified Riri Williams being in this movie. Because she saved Riri now has stakes in the game.
Right.
She's no longer the pawn of Namor and the Wakandans. She is now like, okay, fuck that. This woman just saved my life, treated me as her own daughter. I will now give my life on the line.
Right. Well, can we talk about Riri though? Can we just talk about Riri? Because for me, one of the weakest parts of the movie is Riri and Martin Freeman's character and Contessa von Glutenheim. I just felt like, so I didn't hate Riri as a character. Right? This is just my opinion, people.
I actually loved her as a character.
Hold on, I didn't hate her as a character. I thought she was, she was realistically funny. She's a young kid, like, so she's gonna be kind of nervous and all that stuff. Fine. The whole idea of her creating the not the drill, but like the radar or whatever for vibranium, and that kind of being the catalyst for the whole movie, no problem. No issues with that. Her being kidnapped, Shuri having to save her, no issues with that. I don't really think we needed her to build another Iron Man suit after we saw the makeshift one she built and then be a part of the final battle. Besides the fact that I personally don't like the way it looked. It really looked like a Power Rangers like kind of outfit to me.
Yes.
But
it was a little too CG. It was a little too overly CGI.
Almost like too
colorful. It was a Power Ranger.
It almost looked like plasticky a little bit. But like her role in the final battle, if she had basically stayed back and essentially acted like the man in the chair for Shuri, then maybe it would have made a little more sense for me. But for her to actually be flying around and fighting, made almost no sense. She has no battle experience. She's got no like real idea what she's doing, and you brought her into this fight with somebody.
I'll disagree with that though.
But where's the proof that she was a worthy person to bring into the final battle? She didn't really do anything. She flew around.
She grew up in Chicago.
Oh, okay. So she could street fight. Like, come on.
Yeah, I think it was more like
you need than growing up on the
more
side of
like
Chicago.
all hands on deck because you're fighting thousands of Atlanteans. But
I guess, but
that's what I'm saying. The Queen
built her having that suit was not necessary.
Right. Like we were already
you could have had maybe a semi upgraded suit to her Mach 1 that still looked kind of janky and put together of random pieces. This was a fully fleshed, like straight out of Iron Man's like basement suit out of nowhere, and it did not look good.
Two things about this. I agree with you guys on the suit, right? But the death of Queen Ramonda validates her being in the fight, because if Queen Ramonda doesn't die, I don't think she gets in the fight, right?
Maybe.
Like if you're that person who she just saved, you're like, I'm giving everything for this. I'm Wakanda now, bitches. Let's go.
I tell you what I would have preferred. For me, what would have made it just kind of put it over the edge for me is she had the kind of like the homages to the first Iron Man with her, you know, them referencing that she built a suit out of scraps and, you know, working in the garage, and then you see her hammering the one suit and whatever. Like all that stuff was pretty cool little kind of moments to kind of show how she can be a replacement for Iron Man. But it would have been even better if say she's back in the lab while the fight's going on, she's trying to help and all that stuff. She looks over and sees a suit that needs to be kind of finished and just kind of almost like winks at the camera and goes, no, maybe next time, similar to the way Terrence Howard did it.
Yeah. No.
Would have been so much better, I thought.
My second point was I think it would have been stronger if they were in the battle, like you said, and she looks over at the Hulkbuster suit.
Well, that's my third issue with the
and goes no. But if it was just the Hulkbuster suit that the Wakandans had fixed the arm on and everything like that, and like upgraded or whatever, and she's like, "Fuck it, I'm in," and she just jumps in the Hulkbuster suit and goes into the battle, and that's where she gets the ideas for her next suit for her own Ironheart suit instead of building it in this movie. I think it would have been a stronger outing for her. As a cameo,
that would have been better. So it does frustrate me.
Definitely would have been better.
I really thought we were onto something when we kind of figured out that she basically was remodeling the Hulkbuster suit to make her own Iron Man suit, and it really bothered me that we weren't right. It just annoyed me that she built the suit out of other stuff, and I'm just like, come on, that's such an easy connection to what happened before. You know what I mean? So maybe I'm just pissed because we weren't correct on our theory. You know what I mean? But
for me. I liked Riri out of the suit. Her character was enjoyable. It did feel like it was just an advertisement for Ironheart. Yeah, it was just like.
Well, I mean, listen, I know you brought up the Martin
being a part of Wakanda. It was like them forcing, like, hey, we got this thing coming here. What's gonna look like, you know?
But I mean, like, listen, this movie. And this is why I'm going to kind of defend the Martin Freeman angle also with the contestants and stuff like that.
Well, I can. I have my own opinion on that too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I kind of agree with you that there's really no point for him to be in the movie, right? But with this being the end of Phase 4, and then having
don't like that word, you can't say that.
It is what it is. I'm stuck with it forever now. It doesn't matter. I've accepted it. You know what I mean? With this being the end of Phase 4 and them having to push story forward, this movie was so full of emotion, and the story of T'Challa and the story of Shuri grieving and everything like that, and Queen Ramonda and everything, that any other influence from the Marvel Universe was going to feel shoehorned in. And I think that's what happened. Yeah. You know what I mean? But they had to put something in there because it is the end of Phase 4 and we need to have some sort of idea about where things are going. So the Riri thing didn't bother me as much. The Martin Freeman angle definitely seems
my problem with the Martin Freeman character though is that it's fine that he was in the movie again, but the once that Alessa von Tessa von Butane came in, that was unnecessary. She like the whole fact that
I love how every time you say her name, it changes.
what do we care that they were married in the past? It's just such a stupid little detail. And then so him giving up Riri, I should say, to the Wakandans when they first go, when Shuri and Okoye go to talk to him, that's fine. Once that was done, maybe even let him find the beads and talk to them a little bit to help. Okay, no problem. After that, though, him getting arrested and then them having to save him, just pointless. And the movie was pretty long, and those were scenes that just could have been kind of removed. You know what I mean? It didn't need.
I don't disagree with you with that, but what that section of the movie did do is let us know that Contessa. Yeah, basically, like it's advertised. It's basically letting us know that Contessa is now in charge of the entire like CIA at this point.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm sure it'll all come into play in a later movie. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course. But that, I mean, listen, we have to take a little bit of that with the rest of this movie because this movie is part of the greater MCU.
Yeah.
You know, you have to get we're going to get some sort of explanatory thing for something later down the line. And that's what those sections were in my eyes.
So that leads me to another kind of nitpick of mine. And it was kind of the length of the movie. I felt like it was a little too long. Besides removing those things, one thing that I could have kind of done a little bit without, or at least less of, is the exploration into Talokan. And what I mean by that specifically is like the origin story, perfectly fine. I don't really care so much about Namor in the comics. So whatever they wanted to do with him in the movie, I'm in for it. That's fine. But it took forever. The little trip that Shuri took to go to his city just took a little too long. And none of it looked so nice that we needed to like focus on the environment. And then him being down there and her seeing the people almost to me made it too obvious that it was just people holding their breaths underwater. And not like fish people who could just live. So like you could see them kind of, trying to float and push, I feel like Aquaman kind of showed that if people are going to live underwater, they have to adapt and be able to move around quick. And here it looked like they were still just regular people swimming around and trying to hold their breath while also acting on the camera. So all that kind of took me out of it a little bit. Not to say that Namor wasn't phenomenal. I thought he was such a phenomenal villain, but the Talokan, if you weren't going to focus on fleshing out that world, I think you should have saved it for another movie. Give us the origin.
I'll push back on you. Push back on you on this a little bit.
Yeah, I disagree.
I think the exploration in the Talokan was integral in kind of giving us the idea of where Namor was coming from.
Yeah, it was his reasoning.
All his reasoning.
But the other thing part was fine.
The fish people thing, yeah, but like you can't just be like, this is the origin of Namor, and then be like, this is why he's mad. But why not? You got to show something. Like
but they didn't
you
show
have
anything.
to show.
They showed them
did.
sleeping.
I mean, in my eyes,
they showed them like just living. Like, who gives a shit? We get it. They
you're having her connect to his people, his environment, and understanding where he's coming from and why he's being aggressive in this nature.
All right, so then
like,
what should have happened is he should have put like a breathing thing on her and swam her down there instead of having to watch her float through some rip streams for 45 minutes like we're watching Finding Nemo.
I'll disagree with you on the other thing too, is that like I think this is a more realistic version of what they did in Aquaman, where like this is how people would really be if they were living underwater.
I don't disagree, but I prefer the Aquaman way.
Yeah, I mean that's great. I mean, I think all the changes that they made to Namor was to differentiate from Aquaman.
Clearly,
yeah,
they changed
clearly, like
it was,
like make.
It was a Zack Snyder Atlantis. It was just dark and gloomy and miserable.
Like for me, like the whole being a comic guy,
wait,
it's hard.
You like comic books?
I don't know if you guys knew this.
I wasn't aware of that.
If you go check out the unboxing video on YouTube,
shameless plug.
So for me, like changing a lot of Namor's. They really changed his origin, right? They kept his origin pretty much.
Basically, is the same. It's
basically the same. They just changed Atlantis to Talokan, and they made him basically someone.
Sorry.
Yeah. God. They made him basically someone that these people like worship instead of a leader, right? Because like
he was a god. He was a god.
We're talking DC, Marvel, like Namor and Aquaman are the same fucking character. Like the only difference was that Namor was always like a militant. Namor's like the Black Adam of the Marvel universe.
Tech Adam. He's Tech Namor.
He's Tech Namor. Like he's the guy that he wants his people to be safe, and he'll go to any means necessary, including burning the entire surface world to the ground in order to protect them.
Did it bother you that he pronounced his name Namor?
It was a little bit like
I know a few people that just did not like that. I mean, I don't give a shit.
I wasn't a fan.
When he was like, "It's my pet, my people's language for no love," I was just like, "Come on, bro!" Like that was a little bit like, just come on, like.
But can we talk about though how the guy has wings on his ankles, and there's no way that should look intimidating or cool or anything on screen.
They made it look badass,
and yet he looked unbelievable, hopping around in the air and just fucking people up. Like it was nuts. There was no part of me that when I saw the wings on his ankles in the trailers that thought to myself, "Oh, he's gonna be a little flying. Oh, great! I'm supposed to be scared." And then like he comes out and just starts fucking people up, and I was like, "All right, you got me there. I was wrong. Yeah. You win."
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like he looked badass. I mean,
I love his intensity. I mean, he really, to me, he was a phenomenal villain and arguably one of the better villains to come out of Phase 4 of the MCU. I don't know, besides like Green Goblin, right? Who, does that count really? Because he was
that doesn't really count. Yeah.
Like, what other villain was introduced in Phase 4 that I'm like excited to see more of in future movies besides Namor?
No, it's only him.
What'd you say, Suplex?
Kang. I said Kang.
Well, Kang,
Kang, but that's the big bad, right? Like we know
who remains. We technically haven't met, I guess, the Kang. That gets iffy now. Now we're talking time travel. That gets iffy.
Let's not go down that road, please. I don't have the mental awareness tonight to talk about it. But I agree with you. Like he is the most interesting, and they gave us the parallels to him and Killmonger. Like they gave us the parallels of him and like how Killmonger wanted to basically like he took Wakanda and he's like, you guys are hiding all this greatness that you have, unleash it on the world and take over. Like this is bullshit. Like we can do that. And Namor kind of had come to the agreement of, well, they found us, so now we have to burn the surface world to the ground. Because
I love how it's like
it's interesting because it's what?
Sorry, I was just gonna say I love how it's like two different reasons. Like Killmonger wanted to help the world, and his version of helping was to just like strong arm them and take over everything. And Namor wanted to stay away from the world and hide from the world. And once they found him, he's like, "All right, now we just got to kill you." Like it's just two different reasons to both want to just destroy the world. That's basically what it came down to. So go ahead, Suplex. Sorry, Scythe. Sorry,
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Sorry, my bad.
Go ahead.
But the scene with him and Shuri, where she realizes that, oh, this guy's crazy. Like, where he's like, she's like, we can come to a diplomatic reason. He's like, yes, you will help us burn the world to the ground. She's like, whoa. Wait,
like,
what?
I didn't agree to that.
That's what I was gonna say. This was the first time that Wakandans had to fight a force that was also using vibranium.
Yeah. And you can see how scared they were, right? They were all kind of like, we don't really know what they're going to be able to do with this shit.
That woman with the red dreadlocks, because they never name any of the people on the council. So, like, the woman with the red dreadlocks, she's like, let's just give up. They have vibranium. Like, we can't fight them. Just give up. And M'Baku was like, they call him Cuckoo Clan.
No, it was crazy to see how, like, they were scared and it like really leveled the playing field, and it was just an all-out war. It was cool to see. Namor for me was he was a good villain, don't get me wrong, and his abilities, the way they showcased it, made him, as Chris was saying, like he shouldn't look as cool as they made him with how he was with the wings and everything.
Pointy ears,
wings on your ankles.
And little feathery wings on your ankles.
He was an elf with tooth fairy wings on his ankles.
It worked,
it worked great.
And honestly, can we talk about one of the best? Like, you can't call it.
I hope The Rock sees this movie and he's like, I should have had pointy ears in Black Adam.
He's gonna be like, I got it. Black Adam 2 is he's gonna have wings on his elbows. No, but like
for
just I'm sorry to
wings
interrupt,
and,
Fred, but
electricity. What?
the moment for me, the best moment of the whole movie, and this is like more of like a fist pump kind of moment, was when Tech Namor is standing on the Wakandan land or whatever. He just comes out of the water and he's basically telling his troops where to go. And M'Baku's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck this guy up from behind," and just dives at him, and he just puts his hand up and just is like, "Fuck out of here!" And then punches through his armor.
Punches
like,
through
oh
the
my God.
armor.
I was just like, "Damn!" Like that was fucking awesome.
That was a Terry
And then M'Baku's
Silver
just laying
punch
there
to the
like-
chest.
Yeah, you can hear him
M'Baku's
breathing
just
like,
laying there like, oh.
What's funny is I thought to myself, this guy, like I literally in the theater, he punches him in slow motion through the armor, and I think to myself, you're gonna get up after getting punched like that in the chest, and sure enough, the very next scene, he's going, and he just lays back down, and I'm like, okay, that's an appropriate reaction to that.
Yeah, it was great. I think that
I'll
was
tell
one
you
of
the
the
part-
shit moments I was
Oh, hell
talking
yeah.
about
Hell yeah.
before.
Yeah. One of the parts, the only part about the
Scythe has been trying
Atlanteans,
to tell
I
us something.
couldn't.
Hold on, wait.
Oh,
Scythe has been trying to
sorry.
We keep interrupting.
Sorry.
I get excited for Namor.
For me with Namor,
The third time now.
he was a great
Chris.
villain, but he was still the second best Black Panther villain in my eyes. And
Yeah, Killmonger's definitely better.
See, I put them almost like on the same level, but Killmonger came first, right? So he's gonna kind of just edge him out. You know what I mean? But I mean, think about
Killmonger's
it: two
definitely
Black
better.
Panther movies, and we had two of the best villains of the MCU as a whole.
true.
You know, it's
And
Ryan
we could have
Coogler
had
knows what he's
3
doing.
if they just gave a little
Doctor Doom.
a little Easter egg.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
So my part about the what are we calling them? They're not Atlanteans.
It's
Tanakians.
It's the word is Talokadin or something like that. It's like something weird, Talokadins or something like that.
The fish people.
Or Talokadins, or I don't know how you would pronounce it, but
Yeah, the
fish people.
The
Blue
only
people.
thing that
Blue Man
I
Group.
really
Let's call 'em Blue Man
couldn't
Group.
stand about their whole deal was like the weird mermaid song where they're forcing people
I
to
love
jump
that
off.
though. You didn't like that? I thought that was.
I
such a
didn't
cool,
like that at all. It was so
To
like
me, that was such
so
an
fucking
interesting
was
like
interesting.
take on the idea of like the whole
Yeah.
mermaid like myth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it didn't do it for me. I was just kind of like, oh, is this really what they're gonna do? Like, I'm glad that they didn't overuse it.
Right.
I'm
Right.
glad that like they realized real quickly on the first ship that if when the guy fires the gun in the air, that like everything just kind of stopped.
Right. Like
Just
snap
knock
them
people
out of it a little bit.
you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, like snap people out of it. Like, I was happy that they figured out real quickly, like that this isn't like an ultimate move or anything like that.
Yeah.
And they didn't overuse it, but I thought it was kind of hokey, to be honest with you. It was just kind of like,
yeah, I guess I can't argue with that. It is a comic
because like
movie,
if you're as powerful as you're showing that you are, like that bridge scene with Herm and Okoye,
Excellent.
like
excellent.
where they're just like amazing, right? And they showed you how powerful they are. You don't need that whole like, oh.
Well, but think of it. But keep in mind
know.
though, like up until this movie, essentially, they were always trying to prevent anyone from finding them or knowing that they were around.
Yeah.
So I guess the idea
I
is
get
hypnotize these people to walk off the boat. They'll drown themselves, and then there's no one, there, no witnesses. You know what I mean? So maybe going forward, they don't need it as much because now they can just be like, all right, well, they know we're here, so let's just fuck them up.
It was a very like
I don't blame you. It definitely is a little hokey. I mean, it's not an untrue statement to make for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think speaking of that bridge scene, and Fred, to your point about like some of the oh shit moments, one of the best moments in the whole movie, besides the Namor one I mentioned before, was Okoye fighting for her life to defend Shiri and Riri from these superpowered beings. But I love that there was no music, no score or like that. It was just the sounds of her.
It was a badass fight, bro.
And like you just see her really just giving it her all to save these two people. And like
that
so
scene
I got chills
took
even thinking about that.
That scene took them months to film because they wanted to get it right. They literally kept reshooting that same fight scene over and over.
When
it was
fantastic. It paid off. Like that really, they nailed it for sure.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
When he hits that line of like, "Come on, warrior, pick up your spear," and he gives her back the spear. I was like, "Oh my god, let's go!"
Good. So good, and I'm glad that she didn't win the fight. Like I'm glad that she didn't like somehow pull out some victory that basically they just kind of were toying with her, and then they kind of left her for dead. Which was a mistake. So
Jar Jar
really
Binks.
think
Flappy Foot Wings or Jar Jar Binks, which is more annoying?
Jar
Jar Binks, man. I would have said Flappy Foot Wings before I watched this movie, but now that I watched
that's not
this,
even like
It's not even a question.
it's not even a question.
Fly Life,
Question.
thanks for the compliment. I think you're talking about
Yo,
me, right?
Fly,
For the
what's
good-looking
good?
men? What's up, man?
I love
Speaking
right here,
of
bro.
Okoye, speaking of Okoye, though, let's stick with her for a minute and her bald-headed
She was
friend.
badass.
Yeah, but their costumes. Speaking of bad costume decisions, I did not
Midnight
like their
Angels?
costumes either. Yeah, the Midnight Angels.
Midnight Angels. Yeah,
Like,
I
was
wasn't a
excited
fan.
to see them.
I wanted to actually ask Zuplex about them, like because I don't know them.
Comics. Is that what you're gonna ask?
Well, one, yes, is that did they look that bad? And two, how were they that like prominent in the Wakandan world? In the
It's a much later addition to the stories. Like I think Midnight Angels first show up in the run of comics where Shuri becomes Black Panther.
Okay.
Like that, if I remember correctly, it's around that time that they first like the Midnight Angels are supposed to be the Dora Milaje's like
Navy
SWAT
SEAls.
team.
Yeah,
Like they're Navy SEAls. Like they're supposed to be like the fucking best of the best of the Dora Milaje. And they're the ones that they call when like the regular Dora Milaje can't get the job done.
Right.
Like
the
they're the ones pulling up like spec ops missions and all that type of stuff. There is a similar looking suit that they wear in the comics. This is one of those cases where exactly what it's in the comic book looks fucking goofy on screen.
Right. Like, I get trying to stay comic book accurate, but at some point someone's got to look at it and be like, that looks fucking dumb. And
yeah, like
I almost feel like the problem with their two suits and Riri's suit, I don't know why I can't say her name. I think it's because I already drank some whiskey. I think the problem with those three suits though is that they're almost a little too stylized, if that makes sense, or a little too. I don't even know. Like there's too much to them. You know what I mean? It would have been better to make them a little more tactical.
They were like Power Rangers.
They
were
really
just
did.
all
Not even Power Rangers. Those
straight
like
up Power
like a
Rangers.
villain of the Power Rangers would wear those suits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One thing I do want to say, and this is kind of like a little bit of
monster grow.
this is a little condemnation on like the entire MCU. You know, I understand we're paying these actors a lot of money, right? And we need to see their faces. I'm getting frustrated with the fact that everyone gets a cool suit, and now every single helmet and mask in the world can just like move around and just gone. Like why
everybody's got nanotech all of a sudden.
Everyone's got nanotech.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man having in the beginning his mask opened up and fine. I know they wanted to update it. He's always tinkering, no problem. Black Panther's suit, it was like, okay, you know, she built it out of nanotech, whatever. I get that everything's kind of similar technology, but Ant-Man's suit, he hits a button, the whole helmet goes away. Guardians of the Galaxy hits a button, the whole helmet goes away. Like every single helmet we have that's comic book accurate, they just hit a button, or they don't even hit a button anymore. They just, I guess, think it, and it just nanos away completely. There's not even like a little compartment. At least with Guardians, Star-Lord's mask, he has a little thing back here, and you can be like, okay, it's stored in that. But in every single suit, it just goes away, and it's a little frustrating sometimes.
Yeah,
You know,
I just sent you guys a picture in the chat.
Practical.
If you want to take a look
It's
at it.
like even Riri not Riri, Shuri in this movie. You know, her getting her own suit was fine, but like she had to pick up the helmet, right? So cool, excellent, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But then the helmet's disappearing every time she wants to talk. And I'm like, if she grabbed a necklace, like, you know, in the first Black Panther, they showed that she made suits that came out of the necklace. Like, okay, fine. Then at least it kind of fits that theme or whatever. But she lifted the helmet up and then put and you know, had to put the helmet on. So now it's just disappearing every 2 seconds. I don't know. It's a little, to me, it's a little.
It's weird.
What's the word? It's a little distracting now that it just happens all the time.
Yeah.
You know? But I guess it's something you gotta deal with.
Like you said, T'Challa's suit, they would carry his helmet in the funeral,
right?
But that helmet would just disappear.
Would just disappear.
I think
no one's wearing it, but why would it still be there?
I think, and I agree with you on that. It's just kind of like weird that everybody all of a sudden has nanotech.
I'm fine with some people doing it.
I think the helmet.
Come on.
I think the helmet in the Black Panther case at this point is kind of symbolic.
Yeah,
because I think there was always like because like the original Black Panther had the mask similar to like what M'Baku wears when he challenges for the similar to the mask that T'Challa wears when M'Baku challenges him in the first movie.
Right.
But that's like the first Black Panther mask, and I think there's always like a Black Panther mask, and but the tech has gone so far that they're able to implement nanotech now. So they don't necessarily need the helmet.
Every single
But
person.
no. Look, I agree with that point. I'm just saying, as far as them carrying the Black Panther helmet, I think that's more of a symbolic thing.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it.
Whereas, like, but I agree with you that there's far too much. Like, everybody's just like, oh yeah, I liked it personally better when even in the Iron Man movies, like that scene in Iron Man 2.
Bro, the face comes up and over.
Yeah. Where like him and Rhodey are fighting together, and they're both like they both have the helmet up, and they're like, all right, time to go. And it's like,
right,
you know,
like I understand that. Forget the Hollywood side of it, right, where you're paying these people money to basically show their face on screen. So fine, forget that part. I get the business part. I understand that if I'm talking to the friend and we both have masks on, it's kind of just better. Just lift the mask up and talk. Fully get that. But in Ant-Man, the very first Ant-Man, he hits the button and the mask opens up. It doesn't just disappear. And I think even in Ant-Man and the Wasp, it doesn't just disappear. It like hits a button and it kind of pops off. I don't remember though. I haven't seen that.
It wasn't until Endgame when they got Stark Tech.
And then all of a sudden now, I guess Tony Stark just supplied the world with whatever his nanotechnology is and every single helmet made.
Like the Ant-Man one kind of makes more sense to me than everybody else's because
he was an Avenger.
Tony helped build those because it's really the time travel suits, right?
Yeah.
Tony helped build those, so it makes a little bit more sense that Tony would implement his nanotech into that.
Right.
So that one makes a little bit more sense to me. But like the fact that everybody in Wakanda now has a nanotech helmet,
and it makes sense that Spider-Man had it because it was Tony built the suit.
But again, Spider-Man only had it. This is why it doesn't bother me.
Tony's suit on the one
he
that he
built. On the Iron Spider suit. On the regular Spider-Man suit, he's pulling the mask off. That makes sense to me. You know what I mean? So
agreed.
That's a nitpick. I mean, that's not. Listen, doesn't ruin the movie.
No, I don't disagree with you because they're definitely headed in that direction where everybody has nanotech, and it just makes no fucking sense.
And it also, for me, as just a fan, it takes away from, as a fan of movie making, I should say, it takes away from the fact that they build these costumes. When it does that, you know that it's just a green screen suit. They just have that gray suit on with the balls, and they just put the suit in later with a computer. And like, knowing that the suits are all CGI and the costumes are all CGI and not really like an actual costume being made kind of is a little like sad to me when we had a legit Black Panther outfit made for somebody. An Iron Man suit, at least from the waist up, was built for Robert Downey Jr. You know what I mean? Like that, knowing that there were literally suits out there was always a cool thing to me. And then now it's like, no, they just put them in spandex and we just CGI the suit in later. And it's like, okay, I understand that's an option, but let's put a little bit of the magic back into it. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But again, that's just my opinion.
I mean, I don't disagree with you on that one.
Let me ask you guys this question. Did you stay to the end credits?
Yes.
And how did you feel?
If you go to any Marvel movie and don't stay for the end credits, you just shouldn't be going to Marvel movies at this point.
So funny story about that. I'm in the theater right now. Obviously, the movie ends. Half the theater gets up and starts leaving. Right now, when I say it ends, I mean like
it happens every time.
Every time.
So is this your first time? Like what is wrong with
I'm thinking
people?
the same thing. I'm looking around and I'm like, fucking amateurs, man. Have you never been to a Marvel movie? I look over, there was an empty seat next to me and then a guy and his girlfriend next to that seat. I look over at the guy and he's looking around just like me, like fucking assholes. So whatever. We're sitting there, I'm looking at my phone, the mid-credit scene pops up, which we'll talk about next. And I'm watching it. Then the mid-credit scene ends, the classic credit kind of sequence starts. More people get up to leave. And I'm like, what? Like, there's an end credit scene, assholes. And then the guy next to me, him and I lock eyes. And I'm like, I guess I've never seen a Marvel movie. And he goes, yeah. I'm telling my girlfriend the same thing. We can't leave. And I'm like, yeah. There's like 6 of us left. Then all of a sudden, 3 of the people that were left get up to walk away. And I think to myself, well, they waited till halfway through the ending credits.
They quickly Googled how many end credit scenes there are.
I literally say to myself, like, did they Google it? Is there no end? There can't be. It's got to be an end credit scene. So I don't pull my phone out. I'm thinking like, no, I know something everyone else doesn't know. Before you know it, the movie ends. The lights go on, and I look over at the guy and I go, we fucked up. And then his girlfriend goes, I fucking knew it. I was like, damn it. Damn it. My wife would have been pissed if I made her wait to the end credits.
So
it happens every movie.
I did Google right, like once the mid-credit scene happened, I was like, is there 2? Like they're like, there's only 1. Funny thing is, like,
I have to wait. You still have to wait. It's just a part of the experience.
I did read that the reason why there was only one is because they kind of wanted to mirror Endgame, because this is the end of T'Challa's story.
I mean, it makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't hate that. I really don't hate
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It makes sense to me.
I mean, I
would have
it,
liked
but-
there to have been a second one to try and tease like what's coming as far as
You know what I
in the
wanted?
greater MCU.
Doom.
I wanted to
That
see
should
I
have
wanted
been
to see
Dr.
my
Doom.
man M'Baku on the throne being like, I am the Black Panther now.
You should have just said it one more time. Look at the camera and go,
Oh, come on.
No, but that would
Yeah.
have been a good Doctor Doom cameo, maybe a teaser or
Yeah.
a new trailer or something.
I don't think it was needed.
Doctor Doom.
this
I
point-
mean, it was a failed attempt, failed part of the movie at the court case hearing or whatever. That's when they
Right.
should have did it.
Right.
Yeah.
But and
I'll
after
be honest
credits
with you though,
scene,
like I'm not mad that they didn't throw Doctor Doom.
it
in
just
this
felt
movie
weird.
because,
Like
because of the
French.
way this movie.
Okay, the
I
French.
did.
Yeah.
No, you're 100% right. That would have been a great movie, but great like a little Easter egg to throw Latvia in there, or Bavaria rather. But like at this point, this movie was so fucking good that
It was good.
I didn't realize that Doom wasn't in it until afterwards, and I started breaking it down in my head. I was like, oh shit! Like, we had a lot of theories about Doctor Doom that just never worked. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Because
So,
everything
I-
about Doom
it-
made sense for him to appear,
Yeah.
or at least
Agreed.
in some symbolic
And,
form.
again, we
appear.
know that Fantastic Four is coming. I think they said that Doom was not going to be the villain of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that's what I
However,
heard too.
you can't have Fantastic Four without Doom. So there should have been, or there should be.
I think
should say,
I think
some
Doom's gonna be
sort
like
of
everyone's
Easter egg.
villain. He's gonna be like a big bad for the.
I think
greater
I feel
MCU.
like after Kang or after Secret Wars, I should say.
I think he's the big bad for Secret Wars.
Saga, essentially. Well, maybe he is, or maybe he's introduced as a big part of Secret Wars. But I feel like we're
that's
gonna
what I
deal
think.
with him after Secret Wars. Like really, kind of everyone's gonna have.
think we
something to
wind
do
up-
with,
maybe.
I think we wind
Uh-huh.
up with God Emperor Doom for Secret Wars.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah,
But again,
yeah.
they have to establish him, right? If they want to make that feel organic, they
Agreed.
gotta establish him ahead of time.
Agreed.
You know what I wanted to see, and it's not Doom related.
What's that?
A nod or something kind of telling you that Storm exists in Wakanda.
There was a
Yeah,
big
that
rumor
would've-
for
that
a
would've
long
been nice.
time that she was going to
Like,
be Aurora.
that was the
Monroe-
original
Monroe
plan.
was going to show up.
Like, how cool would it have been if it wasn't Nakia in that credit scene? It was friggin' Storm that was like his secret lover, because they're lovers in the comics.
Yeah,
How cool would it have been
I-
instead of T'Challa's kid, it was T'Challa's daughter, and that ends up being Storm. That would have been cool.
Then you got to deal with aging her up and weird Game of Thrones
Kang the
casting.
Conqueror is the major villain of the saga, so you know that they can easily age her up. Just skip ahead a few years.
Yeah, I guess.
my thing is, and I agree with you, because the rumor for years was how they were going to introduce the X-Men
It was
originally
almost
was
almost like more of a rumor, like for the longest time.
no, for what I understand, like that was the actual plan before they knew that Chadwick was sick.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I think I read that. Ryan Coogler.
That was
said
that was the plan in Coogler's idea for the movie franchise to go that way. If they had done a 3, it would have been the love story of Storm and T'Challa, and that's when
Yeah.
Shuri would have become the Black Panther.
would have been Storm and
Because-
kid T'Challa or adult T'Challa.
Oh, adult T'Challa. Like if Coogler's original trilogy had come to fruition, this movie would have introduced Storm, and Namor and
Can
everything
we,
like that, and then
But it would have
in
been
the third
such
movie,
a.
we would have gotten Shuri as the Black Panther.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying though. Like, it would have been such a better as an after credit scene. Like, I know
Right,
you
see,
want to
like-
you want to end his his
You gotta
story and
give
everything
Nakia-
like that, but
You got to give
the
Nakia
whole
her-
movie was an advertisement for the future of the MCU. What's another scene showing, hey, Storm's out there, or you see something with like a note that says Aurora Monroe on it or something?
well,
like,
speaking of Storm,
I-
though, how about the fact that we have our first official full-blown named mutant in the MCU? I know, like we've confirmed that Kamala Khan was a mutant. It's basically
Yeah,
confirmed
she's
mutants
the first.
exist, but he flat out called himself a mutant. That's the first
Yeah.
time we've heard
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So like, again, this is the genius of Feige. You know, he's not just gonna tomorrow go, oh, by the way, X-Men's coming next week. He's gonna plant the Easter eggs and, you know, and give us build up.
He's not a mutant though, because they didn't play the X-Men theme, and that's Fred's determination for if he's a mutant or not.
Why are you attacking Fred? What, like
I don't know. He's attacking me because we got pulled receipts on him.
Right, we pulled receipts. We got that proof.
I'm pulling receipts later when I have to scrub through all this footage of us and finding
we
every
won't be
time.
live though, buddy. We won't be live.
Reanimate fucking Killmonger.
It's after the fact, man. Doesn't count.
Doesn't
count unless you pull it up ahead of time.
I'm gonna have Steve fucking edit together me a montage of Fred being like, they're gonna reanimate Killmonger.
It's like having an argument with somebody and then leaving, be like, I should have said this. God damn it.
We're gonna get a text later on and be like, I knew it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
All right, guy. What did we miss? What's that? Oh, one thing I wanted to talk about.
Hold on. We really didn't talk about the end scene, the end credit scene.
Oh, what, the T'Challa Jr.?
Yeah, the kid.
T'Challa the second.
Do we really care?
Listen, what I think it did was give us an opportunity to have a T'Challa Black Panther again down the line.
But why? Why do we need another T'Challa? Let Shuri be Black Panther for a while.
That's definitely the reason why they did it.
Yeah.
That's definitely the reason.
Maybe they want to give Letitia Wright another movie and then be like, yeah, you're out.
I mean, listen, after this movie, you can give her whatever she wants because she was so fucking good in this movie.
Yeah, but she's anti-vax, man. Hollywood doesn't like that shit.
She's my Black Panther for the foreseeable future, as far as I'm concerned.
You should have said she's my Black Panther forever. I mean, you completely missed the segue.
No, I can't say forever.
Listen, I don't hate the fact that they show T'Challa has a kid and he's named T'Challa and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
you know, it is what it is. I felt like the natural endpoint as far as that beach scene was Shuri finally kind of letting go of her guilt of what happened to her brother and burning the robes.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Extra scene, you know what I mean? Maybe
we
it
got
would have been
that.
better. No, I know we got that, but a mid-credit scene, it just then announced that T'Challa had a kid secretly. I was kind of like, all right, I don't know.
But
it didn't really do much for me, you know. But I don't know the comics well either, so.
But for me, well, none of that was in the comics anyway. But
he doesn't have
for
a kid
me,
in the
like,
comics?
I think him and Storm have a kid at some point. But that's
why I was saying better than Nakia being there.
No, but I think you had to have Nakia in this story arc, because if you were just like, this is Aurora Monroe, someone you've never met before, and she's the mother of his son.
How badass would have been though if Shuri was like on the beach and she's crying, she's burning the robe, and she's like, oh god, and then the wind picks up and she's like, why is it so windy over here? And then all of a sudden someone just floats down with the white hair and she's like, hello Shuri, I was banging your brother. She says just like that.
See, like what you just said is exactly why I didn't want that to happen. You know, because in my eyes, I agree with you. It would have been badass to get a glimpse of Storm in this movie, but
or just like a story
for this story, the way they were telling it, I think Nakia is the right person to be in that role of the mother of his son, because they already established in the first movie that they were in love and this, that, and the other thing, and she didn't want be a part of the royal family and all this other shit. But she's always a daughter of Wakanda and everything else, right? What do they call her? The war dog? The war dog of Wakanda? The war dog. But the solidified for me, Shuri's acceptance of T'Challa's death was her looking into the eyes of her nephew when her nephew's like, can you keep a secret? I am Prince T'Challa of Wakanda. And Shuri's just like, I mean, like, listen, man, you could think it's dumb. I was fucking like, oh my God. Oh my God.
My only thing on that was it's just a way to have T'Challa come back in some form as Black Panther down the road. But
looking at Letitia Wright while she talks to the kid, but looking at Letitia Wright while she talks to the kid, like, the acceptance that she had of that, like, sold it for me. Like you could say.
Yeah, listen, it wasn't the worst scene in the world. We've had worse end credit scenes. I'm looking at you, Multiverse of Madness. But you know, I don't know. I guess it was one thing that for me didn't really enhance the movie too much. You know what I mean?
Can we talk about something before we wrap this up?
Yeah.
we didn't even talk about Shuri fighting Namor, which was a badass
I was going to bring
fight.
that up actually before we ended it too. I thought that was
Bro,
actually
There's a couple scenes I still want to bring up,
was
by the way.
I thought that was an
Okay.
excellent way to end it. It was smart. Her using her intelligence versus just strong
yeah,
arming it was smart. I love that
drying
she still
him
basically got
out.
her
It
ass
was
beat.
perfect.
You know what I mean? Like she still struggled, but she at least was able to outsmart him a little bit where he was so weak that he couldn't just finish her off. He needed to get back to the water, and she used that to her advantage. That was smart. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it all. You know what I mean? And I love the fact they didn't kill him off. That was my biggest thing.
Yeah.
He was such a good villain,
Yeah.
and I was expecting them to kill him at the end. Not maybe her to stab him, but maybe he
Well,
tries to do something and kills himself accidentally or whatever. And I love that they
But
left it, and they also left it where he's still, not trustworthy. He's kind of like, oh, don't worry,
No.
like we're gonna use this to our advantage. Like really, really well done. I felt like
That's the Namor from the comics, right there. Like
the strategic guy. Like
the ending where he's talking to Namorita, and he's like, no, you don't understand. Like now we're strategically placed to, like, they're going to need our help at one point, and then we will get what we want. And this, and now we have an ally in them and everything like that. Like that's the Namor from the comics. Like that's the Namor that's like so strategic about his world and everything like that. Like that's where you saw the parallels, right? The end fight scene was gorgeous. Like I thought it was really well done.
I've
thought
heard some complaints about the CG about the big fight on the ship, but
there's a little. I mean, there's a little
CG
wonky.
there was moments, I guess, but
it's
honestly,
mostly
CG
Riri.
was the Riri
the
suit.
outfit.
Yeah, it's the Riri
It
suit.
was the suits.
Yeah.
That's the only thing
Yeah.
that to me looked
The
a little
Midnight Angel
cartoonish.
suits too. Yeah, we're a little cartoony.
Yeah,
But otherwise, the idea of them, like the whole kind of plan, the idea of them, of the Talokadans or whatever, bringing that whale with that big giant amount of like bombs, like it was a cool scene. I really thought it was intense, and it was better than the ending to the first Wakanda.
yeah.
I didn't like the standoff part at the, like, whether they're like trying to push them off into the water, and like it was a little like for me, because it was just
right?
like
That's movie making.
you showed that these guys are that the Talokadans, whatever, are these like savage warriors
Right,
who
they're
are
like
able
ruthless, right? And then all of a sudden,
to.
they
At
go,
what
"Let's just
point are they not
warriors.
just going to kill them right there and then and start knocking people into the water? Like they're slowly backing them up, type of thing. Is just
right.
was a little. It was like definitely a Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
We have to have that standoff type of thing, but it just seemed.
You can't kill everybody, right? So like, let's just
Yeah.
You know what I thought was a cool little touch?
What?
When she gets stabbed. I have a double thing to this, a negative and a positive. So the negative, I'll just get out of the way. It seems like she just heals herself very quickly with the Black Panther powers. Like she had a whole spear, vibranium spear through her
body. Yeah.
And she just like healed up like it was nothing, which begs differ, like why couldn't T'Challa heal? But with that being said, it was cool because it felt like she was on the verge of possibly dying in some way, and she was getting visions, maybe a glimpse into the ancestral plane and finally seeing her mother. You know what I mean?
That gave her the motivation,
not seeing
that she was worthy
Killmonger
or something.
Not seeing the raging Killmonger, seeing her mother and be like, all right, now it's like she's past it. She's past
Can I tell
that.
you how they could have made that better?
Who you are.
It would have been better if like she's like sitting there, she's bleeding out, and she looks over on her left shoulder, and there's like a little devil who's like, "What are you waiting for? Bitch, slap that asshole!" And it's Jason Mewes, and she looks over on her right shoulder, and it's another devil, and he's like, "Now you probably don't think a little angel's gonna come, but I beat his ass. Go fuck that guy up." Like that would have made my day.
Yeah.
That would've made my day.
We kind of glazed over this real quick. I just want to get this out there before we end this. But the meeting of Okoye, Shuri, and Riri Williams was one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
It was great, really well
in,
done.
in her dorm room.
Yeah,
it was just one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
She's hiding in the bathroom already.
See, like I would love to have like this is where Disney Plus would come in handy. Marvel should create a bunch of shorts where you see these characters doing the sneaky shit, but like from like the distance, and you just see how silly it looks. Like, how did she get into the bathroom? She's climbing up the side of the building. No, like I would love to have like just some random, like a little short of a random student leaving the cafeteria with his little lunch and walking. Then he looks up, and there you see Okoye just kind of climbing up the side of a building, just sneaking into a window, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Like, you know, I would love to see
there's
those
a bald
scenes
lady
like that.
climbing the building. Huh.
Yeah,
That's my favorite part when like Riri's like, "Man, this bald-headed woman, like, what are you doing?" And she's like, "I told you my makeup looks bad." Like,
that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It was really
like
good.
going back and forth, like the
Overall,
dynamic between the three of them.
I gotta say the CGI in this one improved on the first one a lot.
Oh, yeah,
And not that the first one looked horrendous. Besides the final
I
battle,
didn't
the first
mind
one
the
looked
first
great.
one.
But
I know the train thing you
the
didn't
train
like.
thing I really didn't like. I just thought it looked silly. But here I feel
I thought
like
it looked silly too.
there was no moments that really stood out to me as like really bad looking. You know what I mean? Everything looks solid. The action was fantastic. The opening action scene with those guys trying to like rob the vibranium, and then all the Dora Milaje popping out and just fucking them all up, just really well done. It was just to me, this was a huge improvement on the first one. The first one's not my favorite MCU movie, and this one is clearly easily, like we said, I think Scythe top 2 for Phase 4 probably would be in my top 10 of overall Marvel movies or MCU movies.
For me, it goes Spider-Man, No Way Home, then Wakanda Forever at this point.
Yeah,
well,
I have Wakanda and
just...
Shang-Chi kind of like right there with each other.
I love Shang-Chi. I love Shang-Chi, but this is better.
I love Shang-Chi so much. Like, so I kind of agree with you, Scythe. I feel like it's like right next to each other. This might have
2A, 2B.
Yeah.
2A, 2B type of thing.
Let me clarify this as a thing, right? Like, Wakanda Forever is a better film. It's a better
but I guess it doesn't have to deal with the origin of Black Panther. It's kind of
it's a superhero movie.
It technically was the origin of Black Panther.
Technically,
like
I don't know.
Shang-Chi's more entertaining as a superhero movie or as a comic book movie. This is a better film, though.
Yeah, I can't really argue.
Ryan
Coogler,
like Ryan Coogler did his thing on this movie, and he is now like. Of like current directors, like, you know, besides your like Scorsese's and your Tarantinos and stuff like that, of like these new age of directors that are coming out, he's on like the top of my list.
Yeah, he's up there because Creed 3 looks phenomenal too. Real quick, Zooplex.
I don't think Coogler's doing Creed 3.
No, he's producing. He's not directing it.
Because he didn't do the second one. He did the first one.
One Shot wants to know, Wade, if you're playing Call of Duty after this. Way to keep us on brand. One Shot.
I'm
over here.
I'm on that long grind to finish out these weapons before Warzone drops tomorrow, so I'm gonna probably be on all night.
Just listen to his voice. He's definitely gonna be on all night.
Yeah, I was up until like 8:00 tonight.
What else?
We're going.
Zooplex, you mentioned another scene that you wanted to bring up, or did we hit everything? I think we got everything.
I think we hit everything. I think we hit everything at this point.
Next up in the MCU line is Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. That's I think later this month, I believe, right? The end of November.
The introduction of the best MCU character yet, Kevin Bacon.
And then very early next year, February, is Ant-Man 3, Ant-Man Quantumania. And
Phase 5 starts.
So Phase 4 is over. Officially is over. Clearly, Phase 4 was about passing the mantle, right? Every basically major hero from the
Phase 4 was
Infinity Saga
about dealing with loss.
Well, it was
like
about
every
multiple
movie.
things. It was about dealing with loss, and it was about passing the buck onto someone else, right? Everyone else.
It was about passing the superhero mantle onto another female.
A replacement. You know what I mean? It's mostly female, but every main character from the Infinity Saga has a replacement ready to go for the. What do they call it? The Time Saga? No. What's the next one called?
Kang.
The Kang Saga.
No, I think it's the Mutant Saga. I think we're going into mutants.
No.
Oh, no.
What?
No, they had a name for it. The Time Saga? Why can't I think of the name of it? I'm drawing a blank, but I got to look it up because I need to do you justice.
The Mutant Saga is after all of this. It's after Secret Wars.
Yeah, and the Time Saga is after all that.
No, it's not. We're in the Time Saga with Kang.
No, we're in the Multiverse Saga.
Multiverse Saga. That's what
I'm asking you. What is the current saga? Oh my god,
the multiverse.
Now we got to deal with sagas. Like, I'm over it.
So anyway, the Infinity Saga ended. Phase 4 was about passing the torch, dealing with the fallout and the loss and the guilt and everything that happened from the Infinity Saga. Ant-Man Quantumania starts the Multiverse Saga, which is that's the word I was trying to get to. So I really think that the big complaint from a lot of people was that the MCU movies all felt kind of disconnected. There was no lead up. There was no kind of through line for all of them. I really feel like starting with Ant-Man, we're going to start to see a lot more cohesion. and a lot more of like a specific direction for all these movies.
I hope so.
Because remember, 2025, it's over. You know what I mean? So we only have 2 more years, 3 more years.
2026.
No, 2023 is the first year. 2024 is the second year of the Infinity Saga. Then in 2025 is the last 6 movies or 5 movies, whatever, and then it's done. Then the Infinity Saga is over, and then it starts
the Multiverse Saga. The Multiverse Saga is what we're currently in, including Phase 4.
Yeah, I mean, I don't count Phase 4 as a saga. That's a stepping off point, as T'Challa would say.
If you say so. The whole phase is about the multiverse, but no, we'll forget
it's
it.
really not, though. So you say that, but it's really not.
Which saga? Let's figure it all out. Feige, give us a map, please, so we can just understand.
How many multiverse shits did we talk about? Kamala Khan had multiverse shit. Doctor Strange 2 had multiverse shit. Spider-Man.
Wait, is this saga part of a different chapter though? Like, is that what's happening?
What?
And that chapter is part of a different series? Like, what?
I don't even know. What,
Any more ways to break this down into
is this season 1 of Saga 3?
Your words that mean nothing.
It's the first half of Saga 1 of season
1
2
of Saga 1
of the mid-season premiere of the finale of the series
of Phase 6 of.
Anyway, we're off the rails now. I drank too much whiskey. All right, boys. Thank you guys for spending an hour and a half with me. Thanks for everyone in the chat. We kind of kept a consistent 7 to 8 viewers the entire stream. That's a pretty good number for us.
Yes,
and, like I said, ScytheX did a Gorilla Bars Harry Mack reaction, came out today. Zuplex did a whole bunch of unboxing comic book video. Did an unboxing comic book video coming out today.
Yeah, baby. That's the first appearance of M'Baku.
Both of those are on YouTube. We also have the captain himself is putting together a trivia contest with a lot of GGEN and MSR members. That's all going to be showing up on YouTube. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to start, but keep an eye out on the YouTube channel for those. You got Scythe and myself playing God of War. So if you want to see how we do dealing with all the drama over there, let us know. Every Friday, you got the Tom McDonald reactions. And so we got a lot of stuff coming out to you guys.
There's going to be a lot of Warzone this weekend, by the way.
Warzone, right? Warzone comes out this week.
A lot of Warzone.
I know. I'm off and John's off. I'm off for the next 2 days. And John's off on like vacation.
I'm rocking Warzone as soon as I get out of work, man. Tomorrow.
There should be, if you can get on the servers, because we all know those are going to crash immediately. Like there's no chance. Like tentatively 1 o'clock, I should be dropping into Warzone for the first time, but tomorrow. But depending upon server crash and bullshit that happens with all of this, probably 3-4 o'clock is more likely what's going to happen.
I'll be home. So perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I will see you guys next week. Theater Room episode 65. And for everyone who jumped into the chat, thanks again. Like and subscribe. You guys know what to do. We'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Wakanda forever. Yeah.
Wakanda forever. Wakanda forever.